Richard, the Lionheart, has finally arrived at Chaldea. Is he a must-have servant or just another saber to skip? Let's see if he lives up to the hype. Hi everyone, Mr. OC here. It has been pretty long since my last Fight Granada review video, but well, here we are. So let's talk about Richard. Even though at this point many FGO players already predicted that Richard is gonna be the New Year servant, but it just feels so unreal. To be honest with you, I really like his design, but well, is he worth it to pull at all? I'll try to answer all of that in this video. Richard best team, Richard loop team, Richard skill, and best craft essence. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's jump right into it. So Richard is an AoE Buster Saber servant which specializes in doing critical damage. Richard can loop just fine like Arthur, however his main selling point is actually doing critical damage. Or at least that's what Rectangle want all of us to believe. Richard has a double Buster, Art, and double Quick deck with his 5 hit on Quick card, 4 hit on Art card, 4 hit on Buster card, and lastly 5 hit on his extra attack. Based on this deck alone, you can see that Richard is geared toward critical damage, with how focused his deck toward making more critical start to the team. Overall, pretty solid, but honestly, double Quick and double Buster card is just not my preference. Okay, now let's talk about Richard's skills. Starting from his first skill, Lionheart. Basically a charisma with additional NP can and buffing critical drop rate for Richard and the party. Which means yep, more star and of course more critical damage. The cooldown is pretty solid with 6 second cooldown, but we will get into this later. To be honest, 20% attack buff is not something you consider very good nowadays. Still, having a damage buff is a good addition for any DPS. Next, let's talk about Richard's second skill, All Kind of Talent. Right after that damage buff from Richard's first skill, we got another buff, this time buffing Richard's card, NP strength and reduces skill cooldown by 1 turn. I don't really like the rainbow buff to the 3 card types as it makes the damage buff number not that significant, but the skill cooldown feature is definitely plus. This skill, if you use it last, makes all your skill cooldown basically become 5 turns, which means if you combine this with Koyanskaya, you use Richard's first skill and second skill again in your second wave, elevating Richard's 3 turn loop damage. Overall, I really like this skill since the cooldown reduction is targetable. Next and lastly, let's talk about Richard's third skill, Sword of Eternally Distant Victory. Yes, standard for every looping DPS, a 30% NP gauge. Sadly, this means that Richard cannot return loop with Black Krill. The best he can do in double Koyanskaya and Operon team is using 50% NP Craft Essence. However, this skill also buffs Richard's critical damage by a lot and instantly gaining 20 critical stars. So this again not only acts as a way for Richard to loop, but also to do critical damage easier. Now, let's talk about Richard NP. Richard NP Utopia Purgatory is an AoE Buster NP. Sadly, this NP doesn't have a special damage modifier, so the damage is pretty low compared to the new Saber DPS. I don't like this, I even hate it. However, this NP actually provides an additional 50% critical damage to Richard. Add that with Richard's third skill and it is 100% additional critical damage from Richard's skill alone. For some reason, Richard NP also inflict burn, which is not really usable with how his kits lean more toward critical damage. Let's not forget that this NP also provides quick, art, and buster resist down to all enemies. So yeah, rather than doing straight damage, this NP just screams, just do critical damage with Richard. From this fact alone, I can imagine that Richard will do an abysmal job in farming setting, especially in a 3-turn loop. He can work, yeah, sure, however other sabers just do this job better. Okay, as Richard can 3-turn loop farm, let's talk about the requirement. Richard only has 30% NP battery, so that goes without saying that the max he can go is with 50% NP CE. The second requirement is obviously maxing Richard's third skill. Yes, it is 20% NP battery at level 1 and 30% NP battery at level 10, so you better max Richard's third skill first. The last requirement is, like always, second advanced skill, make sure to max level it too. Honestly, this requirement is pretty much the same like most 30% NP battery buster looper. So let's jump into the basic looping theme. This is the theme. Double Koyanskaya and Oberon like we always do. My recharge second append skill is max and all skill is max. So let's see how this works. So, recharge crit loop theme is pretty expensive to pull off. You need to have either BP Summer or Shield. But however, the upset is that you don't need to max recharge second append skill first to use this Teamcomp. But remember that it is only usable if the enemy in the first or second wave is only one enemy. So let's see how this party works. So let's wrap this up. Richard is Buster AoE servant. Yes, he can loop. Yes, what he does best is doing critical damage. But is he a must pull? For me, it's big no. Oh my god, this is actually the first time I say a character is not a must pull in this channel. But setting that aside, Richard Kid just like consistency for me. If you want to make Richard a critical damage focused servant, for the love of God, just make him as a skill like Chilter skill. You know, right? That one skill where Jill changed the entire card to her card, that's what Richard actually needs. I am very disappointed with Richard, especially since I like his design so much, but there you go. Richard is only worth it if you only pull it for his design, and I'm not even joking. Okay, so thank you for watching everyone. What are your thoughts on Richard? Do you like him? Let me know in the comment below. If this video helped you, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. It would help me so much. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.